the last Now Page update of 2024. This episode is going to be interesting because I have a lot to do. So, one thing I started actually about a month ago was actually doing calf raises every Sunday because I was working out with a client and I realized, I really don't like how weak my calves have gotten, how small they've gotten. And that was one of the few aesthetic things that I was really pleased about when I worked out so regularly a few years ago. And so I realized, okay, the best thing to do is just to start doing calf raises more. Well, what's a way to motivate myself? Let's do an egregious amount of calf raises. So I started off doing like 50, then 100, then 150, then 200, and then this weekend I got to do 250. Then I'm doing 300, and I don't know if I skip from 300 to 350 or I do 400. But then it's like 500, and then at some point, I don't know how I break it up. I might do 750 one weekend, but I'm doing like 1,000 calf raises in a month or so. Maybe 2 months from now. I don't remember exactly. But basically, every week I'm progressively increasing it because those are one of the exercises that are relatively easy to progress quickly. Although I also have a long history of doing them too. I used to do hundreds of them during like every week. I was working out. I'd do like 300 of them. So I have the baseline muscle of that anyways, but that's not really important today. What's important is the content blitz that's coming up. And so the way I structure these Now Page updates is I give you a little bit of an intro, and then I'd be like, okay, what's happening now, which is like the whole point of the now kind of concept. And then I go into the like what's coming up. And so I kind of already talked about what's coming up, and what's happening now is that I'm struggling. Like I keep waking up tired. I keep not being able to go to sleep at a decent time. And even when I do, even when I go to sleep at a decent time and wake up at a decent time, I'm still tired. And waking up to a gray weather day is not helpful at all. At least today, there's somewhat of the sun, although it snowed heavily this week. So now it's like snow blindness as well. And just like I told people, and more importantly, I told myself that I'd be in Austin by now. And the more I look into Austin, like I see some issues with it. Like obviously there's no transportation there. You have to have a car, and I don't like that. I have a car, but I still don't like it. I'd rather have like public transport and stuff like that. Have options at least. I also don't know exactly where I want to live in Austin, so I have to figure out a time for a trip and the money for a trip so I can go down there and actually explore, because you can't trust Google Maps and Zillow and all that. And so there's a lot of things to do before that happens, but I really don't want to keep living here, and I really want to live in Austin. That's the real kicker. And so even though I consider doing like Studio City and like even like LA in general, or even San Diego for a certain job, it's still not going to be Austin, and I still want to have that under my belt, saying I lived in Austin. If anything, I want to travel around a little bit more. But I had to have money for that, and so I am probably going to get a job at Express, which is nice. At least I told myself I wasn't going to do anything less than $14 an hour, and it happens to be $13.50, which I don't mind putting out there because that's not okay. It should be higher than that, but okay, whatever. Inflation is it's a B, and you just have to deal with things. Also, you get a discount, and I could use a suit. I don't have any formal wear anymore because I grew out of my old formal wear. Like, oh well. But it's just one of those things where it seems like a good idea. $13.50 is better than $0 per hour. And so like that's what really needs to be done, and hopefully I'll find another job to stack on top of that too. And really that's what's happening now. Like I basically need to make content, and I need to work this job. And the content thing I think is really interesting. And while I'll make a certain video about it on this channel in the first place, I need to figure out how I'm managing my content. And Obsidian seems to be the best choice. And so I'm trying to think of a unique way. This is kind of fun. So I've been playing around with this, trying to find a unique way of using the Kanban plugin in Obsidian, because all the other project management tools like the projects and even the other cardboard plugins, for example, they don't really work. And some people say they do, and I've tried it numbers of times, even with a blank vault, and they just don't work. And so I need to find a way to use what plugin does work, and that's the Kanban plugin, in unique ways. And I've seen people make some cool dashboards with them too, for example. And so what I was thinking is actually having a multi-layer. So what's kind of cool is that you can actually have a page that is a Kanban, but that page could be a card on another Kanban. So you could have a Kanban across, like week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, and then within that have multiple cards that are their own Kanbans. So there's different layers of abstraction, because really I have a big project ahead of me. I put aside my other content plans, even like the book and all that jazz, because I really need to focus on this. And ironically, one of the things I need to put aside, but it's actually one of the things I need to get done in this content blitz, as I'm calling it, like a blitz of content, not a sprint, but a blitz, because I need to finish the season 7 of the Polycast. I really wanted the season 7 to only be this year. I don't like transferring seasons over to the next year. It just doesn't really feel right to me. And like, unless I had intended to do that, or like right now I'm halfway through the season, 19 episodes out of 42, and I'm about to release an interview ideally today. And so like I'm about halfway through. So this is one of the few times where if I were to continue it to next year, that would probably be all right because I'm halfway through. But I really was intentionally focusing on trying to get it done this year. I don't know where the last 2 months have gone, and while I was still doing interviews, the polycast just, I guess I wasn't doing many solo casts either, for the most part, as well. I mean, so I really want to get that done, and I want to make it as part of the Blitz, because maybe even the first part of the Blitz, because I just want to get it done, and that way, starting off next year, I don't have to worry about the polycast. I'm going to take a break from it for a little bit, because I think that doing interviews has been great on both my channels, but it's been detracting me from doing solo content, and right now I really need to get done. I need to start growing, and so I need to like put them to the side for now, and then maybe in like February or March I'll bring it back in the February probably. And so that's the kind of mindset I have with the polycast. The creator interviews, I'm on the opposite end where I'm like, do I want to double down, or do I want to do the same thing as the polycast and just take a step back and not do interviews for a while? That would mean I won't have as many shorts on the channel, which has been very conducive to my growth, but I can get shorts from just doing solo cast, and honestly I can do live streams and focus on doing recording videos throughout, like recording videos like this, essentially just multiple of them in the live stream, then just chop up the live stream and call it a day. And so that's one reason, that's one strategy big channels are doing. I really want to grow fast, and so the Poly Tools channel and the gaming channel are the two channels that would grow fast, and yet I haven't been doing nearly enough on either of them. I haven't really done anything on the gaming channel at all. And so I need to figure out what to do there. I also need to do a couple other big endeavors. I need to go on Spotify and upload all of the clips for every episode, because there needs to be like one clip per episode. And I also need to upload the videos to every episode. And so that's one of the things I need to do for Polycast. I did it for the Poly Tools Creator Spotlight, but not the other show. And so that's one task. And then the other task is to basically take all of my interview content or clips, and post them to LinkedIn and Facebook and Pinterest. I'm going to redo it on Pinterest because why not? And if I'm already doing it on LinkedIn anyways too. And so this idea that I'm trying to do is just, sorry about that. And it's just one of those things where I need to get going more on these different tasks. And more importantly than that is this Blitz. And this Blitz has been taking up most of my time right now. I'm trying to figure out what to do with the Kanban plugin to plan it out, because I have 200 blog posts that I want to try to get done in this next month. At the very least, I want to do 3 a day times 30, and that's 90. I would like to get 90 done in the next month. Ideally, probably closer to 120, and 200 is about total that I have that I want to get like out. And so if I can get basically 120 done in the next month, plus the 20 podcasts, maybe I should simplify it a little bit. Actually, just thinking out loud here, 200 seems egregious, and that would just annoy my audience anyways. Doing 3 a day is already a lot, and so if I'm doing 3 a day plus an extra one on the weekend or something like that, that should get pretty close to doing 120. And then the whole 20 podcasts, and then whatever videos I'm doing too. That's a lot of posts that are going out saying like, hey, I'm making content. But I'm hoping that that would help me grow. But more importantly, I can get some of the SEO content that I've been sitting on for ages out. I can get some of these ideas out. Like I have one that's about digital feng shui that is really unique and really cool, and I've been wanting to make it for a while. And so if I can just get it out, I can get that project finished in my head. I can stop worrying about it, because it's been its own project for ages. Ever since I started doing interviews, actually prior to doing interviews, I had a whole longer list of content I wanted to get out to be my baseline. And then when I did interviews, it took the attention away from that, and that's okay. But then I had to get back into it. And last year I made a significant dip into it. This year I made a pretty decent dip into it, but I'm still just not nearly there. So that's really kind of what's coming up, is basically that, is just trying to get that content done. And hopefully you'll see a lot more from me on this channel and just in general. And let me know what you think about that, and let me know if you want me to make some content around Obsidian content planning. I have a few posts in mind, but if you are curious about it, leave a comment down below.